Don't want to let the horse out, do you? You always get that. Spoil out late, isn't it?
The Virgin used to have trains like those, didn't they, years ago?
Once they set everything up, I'll just go
just get the middle back. Three right to one.
Same we go.
Still, so next thing you come in, mate.
So it's like even big from there. Yeah. But that's the bit where the plastic is going.
Yeah, I said that last night.
And I went, when do I want to or when you
Slowly after Chibiri.
Yeah.
Penny Darrow. Penny Darrow.
for everyone to have joined us here at Stroud Station this morning. My name is Mark Hopwood, I'm the Managing Director of First Great Western, so it's our job to run the trains through Stroud and also to manage the station here. And the fact you've all joined us today on such a special occasion is great. We're going to mark the 25th anniversary of the Meningitis Trust by naming a train. And train naming, I think, is a really fitting way to recognise the fantastic work that's being done by the Trust to help support people whose lives are sadly affected by meningitis. So thank you all for joining us today. The railway through Stroud, I think, is an important part of the local community. We're great supporters, I think, of the community locally. Here at First Great Western, we provide train service locally and of course onto London, and recently we've had good news from the government that they support double tracking the route from Swindon to Kemble, and we hope we can work with Network Rail to deliver that and improve the train services. But today is very much about the Meningitis Trust, so I'd like to welcome and in just a minute invite Sue Davey, who's Chief Executive of the Meningitis Trust, to say a few words, and also delighted to have David Drew, Member of Parliament, with us, who'll be undertaking the naming. So Sue, if I can hand over to you, please.
On behalf of everybody at the Meningitis Trust, I'd like to welcome you all here and say what
sorry, that was the 11.
I've never had to contend with one of those before.
First Great Western.
My voice doesn't sound that good either.
And the inconvenience this may cause you.
Okay, I'll start again. Thank you very much for coming. I think this is a very special day for us. I certainly never imagined at the point I became... Somebody set me up for this, I think. And as for any children that are laughing, you'll be in trouble later. You wait.
You won't be driving.
Yeah, you don't get to drive it, you see. Before I go any further, before there's any more announcements, I do have to say a huge thank you to First Great Western for giving us this opportunity, because, you know, to actually have a train that's got the Meningitis Trust name on travelling over a large part of the country is fantastic, and if that just gets one person contacting us saying what help, that's brilliant. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Although we are a national charity, Stroud is very much our home. We started back here in 1986, and it's great to have David here today because as Member of Parliament throughout most of the life of the Trust, he really has helped the Trust along the way. And I know if our founder Jane Wells was here today, she would be saying how much difference David made back in the 80s when we were setting everything up. So fantastic to have you as part of this, David, thank you. I think, you know, this honour of being able to name a train really does demonstrate the work that we do, and we are very much about supporting people that are affected. And for me, you know, it is all about those people, and there are many of them here today, and you are what make it and make us work for what we do. So I hope this is a special occasion for you as well. Over the 25 years, we've raised over £50 million to help people affected by meningitis, and the demand just keeps increasing. So in the last 12 months, we've seen a 24% increase just in the financial grants that we provide to people. So we really do need everybody to keep supporting us, and we know that in Stroud and the local community, we have a fantastic set of supporters who, particularly on things like Five Valleys Walk, come out again and again to help us every year, so thank you. So really, without much further ado, now there's a train coming in to interrupt me. You've got to compete with that, yeah. I really want to hand over to David because this is now about the train and about the naming and very much about the families that we exist for. So David, I hand over to you.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Thank you, Mark, and thank you, Sue, particularly for the nice things you had to say. I am honoured to be asked to do this. I'm not quite the MP at the moment. I have done 13 years, so I do know a bit about the role. But as some of you will know, the Trust did come out of the outbreak in Stonehouse, where I live, in 1986. So, in a sense, from a tragedy, and it was a real tragedy for my community, we have seen the Trust flourish for all the right reasons, to work in the field of finding vaccines, to be able to educate both the general public but also the medical profession, but more than anything to be a real lobbying force. Both I saw that in Parliament but also here in the Stroud community, where we do see you as our charity. So much as you are a national charity, you are very much Stroud's charity. So I'm just delighted to be able to see 25 years on that we now see a real figment of how the Trust has become part of our tapestry. And I won't say much more because I'm sure some of you are making an announcement and that train will be disappearing. So without more ado, I've never named a train before. I've done many things in my time, so hopefully I will get this right, and those of you who want to photograph will have your opportunity. I need this training, the Meningitis Trust 25-year plan.
It's actually when we do this. So there's two on the loco, one on each side. We've actually got a third plate here, and just in case you couldn't hear me, a third nameplate here. So we'd like to present this plate now from First Great Western to the Meningitis Trust for you to put in your handbag and do whatever you see fit with.
They just need a good walk.
Just a few words about the power car. We do operate this train from London out through Stroud to Cheltenham to Bristol, Cardiff, South Wales, through to Exeter, Plymouth and Cornwall. So it's a power car that gets to lots and lots of places and travels across the network.
So how do you drive it then?
Well, basically, you've got your foot on a pedal.
Right, this one.
Yeah, that's spring loaded.
Right.
So you have to keep that pressed down all the time when the train.
Sort of like be stood up on it.
No, just push it down.
Oh, right, that's quite easy.
Yeah, you have to keep that pressed down all the time when the train is moving.
Really? So what happens if you take your foot off it?
Brakes go on, the train stops.
Right. Okay.
All right, and then basically that's your power. So the more you pull that back, the faster the engine revs, the faster you'll go.
Yeah.
That's the brake. So you push that forward. The more forward you push it, the harder the brakes go on.
Yeah.
Yes, each one's got its own number.
Basically, all the different buttons are for various functions, lights and everything else.
What about the choo-choo? Have you got one of them in a button?
That's that button there.
Can we do it?
No,
Why?
because we get told off by the environmental people because it's so loud.
Alright
If you
then.
think about it, it's got to be heard by people 2 miles away.
Yeah.
So, as much as I'd like to see, yes.
Oh.
I'll try.
Oh wow. You sit down and press the... No, I'm fine. Oh, go on.
Just wait there just 1 second.